Welcome to Blogs and Articles. In this series, we look at blog posts, articles online, and news stories about love, marriage, dating, and relationships. I'll provide some coaching questions for exploration, as I would for a client who is in this situation. Then finally, I'll provide my commentary at the end of just me being myself, unfiltered and unadulterated. Hi, I'm Janelle, the relationship coach behind The Successful Invisible. I help professional Black women who are 35 plus date and partner with more self awareness and intentionality. Check out the links in the description box below to sign up for my next 5-day self awareness and dating challenge. Remember to like, comment, share, and subscribe. All right, here is an article that I found on neurosciencenews.com, and it's the personality gap between singles and the partnered. So, this is definitely a recent article, so let's go through it. So, the summary states lifelong singles score lower on life satisfaction and show distinct personality traits compared to those in long term relationships. Using data from 77,000 Europeans aged 50 plus, researchers observed that lifelong singles are less extroverted, conscientious, and open to new experiences. While single women report higher satisfaction than single men, societal expectations about marriage further impact satisfaction levels in cultures with high marriage rates. The research highlights the importance of tailored support networks and interventions to combat loneliness and improve well being for lifelong singles. Programs fostering social connections could be crucial, especially for older singles, as life satisfaction and personality traits predict health and longevity. So the key facts are as follows. Personality insights. Lifelong singles are less extroverted, conscientious, and open to experience compared to partnered individuals. Cultural influence. Higher marriage rates correlate with lower life satisfaction among lifelong singles, though the effects are small. And gender and age trends. Single women report higher life satisfaction than single men, and older singles tend to be happier than middle aged singles. Source APS. So, although being married or in a long-term relationship is often seen as the norm, more people are staying single for life. But singlehood can bring economic and medical disadvantages, especially as people get older and may become more reliant on others. New research in psychological science reveals that lifelong singles have lower scores on life satisfaction measures and different personality traits compared to partner people. Findings that point to the need for both helpful networks and ways to create such networks that are better catered to single people. When there are differences, they might be especially important in elderly people who face more health issues and financial issues, said Julia Stern, one of the lead authors and a senior researcher at the University of Bremen in Germany, in an interview with APS. They need more help, and the help is usually the partner. Stern and colleagues compared single people and partnered individuals on life satisfaction ratings and the big five personality traits: openness to experience, conscientiousness, extroversion, agreeableness, and neuroticism. The study used a survey of more than 77,000 Europeans over the age of 50 and was the first of its kind to look across cultures and at people who had been single their entire lives. The findings reveal that, in addition to lower life satisfaction scores, lifelong singles are less extroverted, less conscientious, and less open to experience compared to partnered people. Previous studies used different definitions of being single, sometimes considered only current status, and other times drawing the line at having never married or alternatively at never living with a partner. But people who have been in a serious relationship in the past, even if it has ended, might have different personality traits than those who have never been that committed. To investigate this, Stern and colleagues grouped respondents by the different definitions: currently partnered, never living with a partner, never married, or never being in any long term relationship. People who had never been in a serious long term relationship scored lower on extroversion, openness, and life satisfaction than those who were currently single but had lived with a partner or been married in the past. All singles scored lower on these measures than people in current relationships. Although this study cannot definitively decipher if personality differences are due to selection, people with certain personality types may be more likely to start relationships or socialization. Long term relationships could change personalities. The evidence points to the former. Stern said that changes to personality from being in a relationship are small and temporary. For instance, although an extroverted person beginning a new relationship may be keen to stay in with their partner, eventually their extroversion comes back. It's more like you have these selection effects. For example, people who are more extroverted are more likely to enter a relationship, Stern said. But she warned that the results are average effects and not necessarily descriptive of everyone, of course. There are single extroverts and introverts in committed relationships. For singles living in a society where marriage is the expectation, may affect their life satisfaction because the large sample included people from 27 European countries. The researchers were able to ask whether there were any cultural differences. In countries with higher marriage rates, such as Southern European countries, singlehood resulted in even lower life satisfaction scores, but the effects were small. The, relig- the religiosity of the country did not seem to matter, however. When comparing across gender and age, single women scored higher on life satisfaction than single men. And older people tended to be happier with their singlehood status than middle aged singles. Stern speculated that with the era of their peers getting married and starting families behind them, older singles may accept their circumstances and be happier. Singles may grow happier with age, but their lower scores compared to partner people are still worrying. Previous research has shown life satisfaction and particular personality traits, including extroversion and conscientiousness, can predict health and morality, emphasizing the need to find ways to promote the well being of older singles. There are differences between people who stay single their entire lives and people who get partnered. And for me, this means that we have to take extra care of those people, Stern said. She suggested that developing new kinds of programs to prevent loneliness that take these personality traits into consideration and help older singles meet like-minded people. If they have people who care for them or look out for them regularly, this might help. So, this is from a study once again from Neuroscience News and very informative. Now, let's move forward. All right, now let's jump into some coaching questions that I often ask or would ask in a session with a client who was going through anything similar to the article that I just read. So grab a fresh pen and a notebook and answer these coaching questions truthfully and fully in order to kind of go deeper on your own journey to greater self awareness when it comes to dating and relationships. And as you know, first relationship, of course, that we need to get healthy around is relationship with ourselves. So let's jump into these questions for reflection. Question 1. What factors have contributed to the current level of satisfaction in life? And how might shifts in priorities or focus enhance that sense of fulfillment? So, if you are single or partnered right now, doesn't really matter. Reflect upon this question and ask yourself what is contributing to the things that are making you happy right now in life. And on the reverse, you can think of things that maybe aren't making you as happy in life. That could be work, that could be family, that could be, working on your fitness, working on a passion project, working toward additional maybe certifications or education, uh, growing a side business, pouring in and helping your community. And remember, these items can go on either side of the list, things that are contributing to your happiness or things that you wish you could be working on. And right now, they're not contributing to your happiness in the sense of you're not focused on them. So, really think through this and make that list. Question 2: how do personal traits such as openness or conscientiousness influence decisions and interactions, and how might developing these traits further support growth? This is a big one. And I would definitely say for clients that I work with, they have experienced a shift in how open they were when they were dating in their 20s as opposed to their 30s, and some into their 40s and 50s, of how open they were to new experiences. And it is very good to be mindful of what you are and are not open to. Now, of course, I'm not talking about things that challenge your ethics or sense of well being or safety. I'm talking about new experiences, stepping out of your comfort zone, of course, in a safe way. And a lot of times we will auto reject things that we're not even aware that we're rejecting because they're different than what we're used to. So, really working through this question and becoming aware of maybe how open you are to things and other personality traits mentioned in this question will help you understand how you are moving, whether you're in a partnership or you're single right now. It's important to understand this so you can intentionally and conscientiously move forward, either to shift that journey, change that journey, or to be more fruitful in your current journey. Question 3: in what ways do societal norms or cultural expectations impact perspectives on singlehood or relationships? And how might redefining these expectations bring clarity or peace? I think this is a huge one because I'm based in the US, so born and raised in a Western culture. And I believe even more so in other cultures that I might not be as familiar with, how much the expectation of marriage is pushed upon women, and is spoken or unspoken, how even when women are very successful in their careers, they can feel this unmet expectation or even disappointment from people who, family, friends, etc., if they aren't married by a certain age at a certain point in life. And that's very huge for every person, man or woman, to consider if they are single later than expected or don't have a desire for a partnership in their lives. Because being aware of that and really factoring that in to how you may feel about where you're at in terms of your relationships, whether you have one or not, is going to be very crucial in keeping your own peace, maintaining it, and just getting it in the first place. Because if you're not aware of this, you could be have like this low lying undefinable thing that is causing you some anxiety or pressure, and it doesn't have to be like that. Just become more aware of it. Question 4: what strategies or actions could strengthen social connections and create a more supportive network, especially when navigating challenges of aging or independence? So, as we are all going through life, we are getting older. So the first thing I ask my clients to do when I, would pose a similar question to them is to really assess where they're at in life and start identifying the things that they need to work on now to improve any all forms of health, mental health, physical health, emotional health, etc. What do they need to do to work on that? And then start working toward that in small, sustainable ways. If, for example, they want to work on physical health and weight loss as a part of that, it would be very important for them to talk to someone who is, that's their niche. They hire a professional that could be a nutritionist, a trainer, etc. Could even be a mental health professional because of many times weight is emotional in my personal experience, and addressing those internal things really helps with the health and wellness journey, especially when it comes to shedding pounds. So it's very important to identify where you're at, what you need to start doing different and moving in that correct direction. Part of that identification process is understanding how you can create more supportive networks or start, researching things or services that you may need as you age, and get older and may need assistance. Maybe not immediately, but good to know these things, but also start getting in the best health you can today to minimize the need for those things in the future. Question 5: how does embracing individuality and unique life paths contribute to self acceptance? And what practices can reinforce this mindset daily? This is a big one. When I work with clients who are 45, 50, especially women, but sometimes my men who are clients as well, who have discovered they don't necessarily have a desire for long-term partnership. Some don't even have a desire to date at the moment. That's okay. Or they've just determined they want to be single. One of their biggest struggles, and I'm speaking in a holistic sense, usually is when they've come to that point of realization, is accepting that it's different than what a lot of other people have done, probably many people in their family, social circle, parents, etc. And being able really to sit with that and sit in that and accept that their path is different can be challenging, because they always want to, we always want to live up to some people's expectations in our lives. And when they realize they want something different, sometimes they can feel bad about it. One practice that can help reinforce this mindset and really start exploring this path in a very safe way is meditation. I'm a big proponent of meditation, and there are a million different ways to meditate. You can look on YouTube and find and see free videos from very accomplished, knowledgeable teachers who will help you do that. But I would say meditation is a great way to do that daily mindset work and really just anchor who you are within yourself. And if your path is a little different, especially when it comes to terms of partnership, it makes it much more comfortable and gives you much more feeling of safety. Once again, I'm speaking collectively, for a person to accept that. At least that's what I've observed in my clients. So definitely think about it if this is not a part of your daily routines. Let's jump into one of my favorite parts of any of my blogs and article videos. And here I want to offer just my thoughts on what we've just read, how I see it translating in, my coaching and the wonderful people I coach with, and just any broader concepts that come up. Just my thoughts. All right, in reading this article, a couple of things kept coming up to me that I found interesting. One, and I think many of us have heard it before, was that single women tend to be happier than single men. Um, in in the overall scheme of things. Also, keep in mind this was a study conducted in Europe across various countries, and so being American and mainly working with clients who are American, I believe personally that the results would be a little bit skewed, or a little bit different. I don't want to say skewed, a little bit different if they were taken from a population of 77,000 single and partnered Americans. But I digress. I do think they would be not too far off from what we see in this study that was cited in the article. The first thing is, like I said, single women are happier than single men. I have my theories on that. I think a lot of it comes down to labor disputes, labor and finances. Married men have more access to money, especially when they have a wife that works, a partner that works, as well as they're getting a lot of free labor, whether their partner works or not, 9 times out of 10. Women take on the lion's share of household domestic labor, even in modern relationships. Even if the husband doesn't work, she is the wife who works is going to tend to do more. So I think that's why single men are unhappier. They aren't getting the free perks of all this free labor, and that's why I'm big. The segue here. I'm big into, when you're dating somebody, do not live with them. Do not live with them. Let them live on their own and let you live on your own. We're all grown here. If someone can't maintain themselves financially as a fully grown person, I'm not talking about hitting a rough patch or setbacks. And even then, they don't need to be focused on dating. I'm talking about as a working adult. They should not be living with you, and you should not be living with them as a way to defray your expenses. You need to first get your finances in order, because a characteristic of a good partner is someone with their finances in order. And that is income level notwithstanding. You want someone with their debt to income ratio under control, with their debt under control, who has very good spending habits, whether they're a spender or a saver. They do practice a level of self-discipline. So I feel in this study makes a lot of sense, because men aren't as happy. Single men aren't as happy as single women, because marriage is good for men. Men get the most out of it, marriage, despite what we're told. When we actually look at what's going on and what's happening, men get more perks than women. The second thing I thought was very interesting is that single people who are older are happier than middle-aged single people. And I think that speaks to, and this was, inferred in in the article, a level of acceptance of where they're at in life, and also maybe just valuing the time they have left here, you know, on this spiraling rock in space, third rock from the sun called Earth. I On this plane, I thought that was interesting because I would have thought it was a little bit of the opposite. Um, and then so I think it's very important for everyone to, if you're single or partnered, but especially if you're single, to self-reflect on who you are and ground yourself in who you are and really start loving who you are as an individual. So if partnership does come about, if you meet someone and you two click and get along, you are not relying on that person for a sense of self or a sense of fulfillment. You are truly engaged with the relationship from a very healthy standpoint. So I really like this article. I think it brought about things that we've heard before, or will prompt me to definitely look into some additional studies about this because it's something that's not talked about. So characteristics are different as we from single people as well as partnered people. And then we have the whole, manosphere, red pill incels. And we know that those gentlemen have certain personality traits that are extremely harmful and toxic to a woman. So that's why they should not be in relationship with them. Women should not be in relationship with them. But I think on a much less extreme level, it was interesting to see some of the characteristics or character differences between people who have never been in a relationship, people who have been in a relationship before, and people who are currently in a relationship versus not. So let me know your thoughts. Definitely, let me know if there's any specific articles you'd like me to dive deeper into and use for material, etc. Thank you for joining me today for this episode of Blogs and Articles, The Character of Relationships, How Single and Partnered Lives Differ. Remember to like, comment, share, and subscribe. Check out the links in the box below to sign up for my next 5-day self-awareness and dating challenge. Also, check out my podcast, The Successful Invisible, next season publishing soon, on Spotify and Apple Podcasts. Until next time, this is your coach, Janelle. Stay empowered and see you on the next article or blog post.